So far you've heard about our journey, but our journey had to start somewhere. And now I want to call on the person who knows this company like no other. Some would say that he knows it better than the back of the breakfast menu at Four Notes. But before I let him have his say, I think it's turn that we say thank you. Thank you for having an idea. Thank you for making that idea a reality. And thank you for unlocking that.
I'm enormously nervous because Ashley is in control of the next 10 minutes of my life, and that might be harsh, but I just want to say that I'm really touched to see all of you and to see so many. And I think I'm speaking not only for myself, but also for James and also for Richard, as the three of us having been at Genesis, if not from the start in a calendar sense, but I think from the start in a spiritual and a sense of purpose sense. So on behalf of all three of us, thank you very much to all of you for being here. And Judy, thank you for coming back. Thank you, it's been a while. And I think I should say this to you. We here in this building were so excited and proud when you took your new job. And it's an inspiration for the people who knew you when you were here, but it's also been an inspiration and continues to be an inspiration for all of the people that you heard speak. And as you can hear, this is a young company. Our average age is 29, actually. And it's really in our young cohort that the future, not only of this company lies, but also of the work that we do. And I think the role that you play in their lives is something that you may not be aware of, but it's real, and it's evident certainly in how they receive the news of what you are doing now and what you are doing for us now. We know that you have a very young child, so this could not have been an easy decision, but all the more, you know, that balancing and that taking care of the big and national and personal all at the same time is something that many, many of us here in Genesis can associate with and admire. Thank you very much. I want to thank Richard and James for always saying something about our company that I never think they would, and saying it in a way that I would not have been able to say it. And there's a lot more to thank them for. I did it last time when we had our inside session. But just to say this, I could not have hoped in my life for two better business partners than Richard and James in very different ways. The three of us, even though we look so similar to most people, we are actually quite different. And I think in a way that I think has been good for the firm. And then I really want to thank all of you. I want to thank the alumni, and I want to thank our current team. And I want to thank you for coming. Not just for coming tonight, but for coming to Genesis. And what you did by coming was that you made it. You changed it. And what I hope for the alumni is that in some small way, some small and happy way, we changed you. And what I hope for the team who's with us now is that in some small way, we're changing each other. That would be the best possible outcome for us as a group of people and as an organism working in this country and working, as Richard pointed out, I think so articulately, on this continent. I want to say something about how we started. We really just started with two people, one person, then two people, and what we had was, we had a tool and we had a belief. The tool, to your point, James, was economics, and the belief was that we could use economics to get people to make better decisions. And those could be very powerful people, very wealthy organizations, politicians, ministers, leaders, but it could also be the powerless, who can also, through their decisions, change many things. And I think what the work that was presented here this evening speaks for itself much more eloquently than I can. That I think at times, in the last 20 years, we have succeeded at that. We have succeeded at that. And I'm very grateful for everybody who has contributed to that success. But my big message for tonight is the work is not done. The work is really not done. We are just starting. I think that's important to know. We are just starting. And the key thing about that work, and what we've learned in the second 10 years of us as a firm, is that economics is a powerful tool, but it's not enough. You need political science, you need philosophy, you need wisdom, you need health, you need agronomy, you need behavioral insights and sciences, you need people in the shared value team who could put all of this together and persuade leaders of what the true impact of their decisions are, and we can go on and on. This firm has changed from an economics-only firm to a firm that has economics at its roots, but understands that the world is a complicated place. Too complicated for economics to understand a lot of the time. So that's a big deal for us, is that we've become a multidisciplinary firm, and I think it's probably the biggest thing that's happened to us in the last, let's say, 10 years, is that change. In the world, though, in which we work, this world in which we have worked and worked so happily and so successfully, that world is about to be upended. It's about to be upended because of Kagiso's point that he made about the youth wave, the demographic change that is happening now and will continue to happen for another 15 to 25 years in the region. Admittedly less so in South Africa, but big time in the region. It will be the most important event of our lives, there is no doubt. And our world will be upended because of technology. Our world will be upended because of climate change. And this is the moment I show how. So we have a little schema to demonstrate this, which is an Escher triangle. And this is what we believe, is that the three great forces that will influence the areas in which we work, the things we want to get done, will be the interplay of demography, of the youth wave, of digitization, and of climate change. And our job here in Genesis is to make sense of all of that, and to get done what we want to get done with a clear knowledge and deep capabilities in those areas, in addition to the areas that we service now. But the key thing is to understand is that those three forces, massive as they are, will not determine our future. We will determine our future. What we do with them will determine our future. And what they do basically is they create massive space for agency, massive space for countries, for communities, for companies like ourselves to do extraordinary things. And that's really what we are going to be spending our time doing. And in order to do that, we ourselves will need to change. And the one area that I just want to highlight this evening of how we change is how we work. So, you know, when we started off, there was nothing that made us prouder than being able to explain the world to people. We were curious. James was curious. Richard was curious. Trudy was curious. People who worked for Genesis then had high curiosity, and they loved understanding and explaining things to others. And so that was good enough for us. We could crystallize what the world looks like in the best possible way, and we thought that was enough. And so, you know, that's what today in Genesis, for the people who work here now, we refer to as the research and insight work stream that we have. It was about crystallizing the world. Over time, we realized that actually we do really want to help people make better decisions. So we became more analytical, less descriptive. We became more focused on what people needed to decide and how to decide that best. And in Genesis now, we have a work stream that we call decision drivers, and probably about half of our work in Genesis, and more of it in really key parts of Genesis like evaluation, are decision driver types of work. Where we are now is that if we want to achieve what we have set out to do in the world with these three forces, is we are going to have to do something that we've started, but that's essentially new for us. And that is we will have to design solutions. And so, if you remember, one phrase from at least what I'm saying tonight is solution design. As a firm, we are going to shift significant effort, significant focus to solution design. And what does that mean? That means actually things we already started to do. Things such as designing new strategies, designing new laws, designing new institutions, designing new business models, designing new market structures. If we can do that, then we are not just designing solutions, we are designing the future of the region in which we work. And in order to do that, that means that we will have to do our work somewhat differently. We are already, in Genesis, I think, within the company, really succeeding at breaking down the walls inside the company that stop us from working together. We love projects. We prefer projects where a behavioral scientist can work with a financial analyst, can work with a microeconomist, can work with a financial expert, can work with a health expert. Those are the kind of teams we are putting together now, and we will put together more and more of them, and we will do everything we need to do to break down walls within Genesis. But we are also breaking down walls between Genesis and the outside world. We've become much more porous. We have become much more open. We've become less pleased with ourselves. We've become much more partnership driven, and we have started to work with our clients as partners. And that sounds like such a cliche, but not in the way that we mean it. Because we really mean by that co-pondering problems, co-learning, co-solving, and we do that with a range of clients now. Gates, I've got a list here actually. Gates Agro, which is the large Africa foundation aimed at establishing the green revolution in Africa. Various economic ministries in Kenya and South Africa, various corporates, medical schemes, a whole host of entities we now have that way of co-working with. And we are also open to the world in the sense that we work a lot more with people that are not of Genesis right now. They are outside. They may be interns, they may be specialists, they may be associates. So our world is changing, and the world of Genesis is increasing. So next time we have this, which I hope is next year, we will also have all of those associates with us, because they will be part of the Genesis family as much as we are. And then the other thing that's changing is who we are. We are becoming more diverse. We are becoming more cosmopolitan. We are becoming more spread out in a geographic sense. We are going to be crossing many more disciplines in how we work and whom we employ. We are going to be linking many more networks. We are going to be including many more points of view and different perspectives, ideologies of the world in the teams that we put together, so that we can understand and solve more. And so these massive changes taking place around us will be in some way reflected by massive changes internally. There's just no doubt. Which is why I say that we are just getting started. But there are some things, and this is where I'll end, that will not be changing. So the one thing that will not be changing is that, and the originator of this phrase is here tonight, Timothy Hobden, is that when we work, we live in a glass box. And that is Genesis code for saying that if people could see everything that we do, what would they think? And how would we feel? Which goes to the ethics point that James underscored. Also, we believe in building ourselves and each other as individuals. The people who work here, the people with whom we work in client, the people with whom we work in partnerships. That building of each other as individuals. Siakana is our short phrase for that, will continue to be a key part of how we work. And thirdly, the other element that will stay the same, is our phrase. It's an internal phrase of plus ultra. Plus ultra really means is that we do our work with rigor, with imagination, with courage. And all three of those will be called upon. But That's what will continue to be of the Genesis that has been. So many things will change, but many things will stay the same. Again, I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming, for pitching up, for spending years of your life with us, for spending your energy, your passion, your intellect, your curiosity, your creativity, and your courage with us. And for those that are doing it today, I just want to say double thank you. It's very special. There's a phrase that was once said by somebody who said, the most sacred thing you can give somebody other than your love is your name. Is your name. And I want to thank all of you for what you've given to us as a firm and to each other. And I want to say enjoy the one more thing I want to do. I just want to thank I just want to thank everybody who's been involved in organizing this. And so just one more moment. I just want to thank Mike, his team, and also the outside service providers and contractors for everything that they've done. Thank you.